And here we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the only podcast on this channel this week, Xbox Ultimate Podcast.
Weird.
Yeah, it is weird. Episode 132. I couldn't do Monday. It just didn't have it in me. It's a long ass day, and yesterday Pong had to work extra hours and stuff. It is what it is. But here we are today, everybody, and we are a go for tonight's show. So thank you all for being patient with us. And if you did catch the solo stream I had late last night, thanks for tuning into that as well. We just had some fun conversations and stuff, and then hung out a little bit. But we have a fun show for you because we're going to be looking ahead at the next few months for Xbox, which, looking at it now, for me, looks like this could be the biggest, the most influential, the most crazy stuff happening in the next 4 or 5 months in Xbox's history. And we're going to break down what all that means. But first, let's get to this amazing panel. Pong Soul, what's up, dude?
Starting with me. Holy shit.
Yeah,
What the hell happened?
I missed you, man.
Wow.
I missed you.
Hey, yeah, I missed you too, man. I miss talking. It's been one
Yeah.
hell of a trying week, real life wise. And we're ending it on a blizzard tonight. So, appropriately enough, but happy All Fools Eve, everybody. Where tomorrow you can trust nothing
Yeah.
that you hear.
Did y'all see
Nothing.
3-Bits post? Like, he was
Yes.
trying to get us
Yeah.
like a
Do it
day
right away.
early. Or
I do it
something.
right
Like,
away. I was like, fuck you, dude.
He did-
I was like,
free.
3-bit thinks it's fucking April.
He
Like,
did
Yeah,
the same
I'm
thing
like-
He did the same thing last year too. I don't know if he remembers that, but
Yeah,
like I think he's
so-
done it 2 years in a row actually.
I think he has done. I knew right away. I was like, you
Yeah.
idiot. Anyways, that's 3-bit for you. But yes, tomorrow, folks, I don't care who you're listening to. I don't care what you're looking at. Trust nothing when it comes to video game stuff tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nothing. Okay. So yeah, happy All Fools Eve. But yeah, Mav, crazy. What you were just talking about, a little piece of it. Right. So we are 11 days away from Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah.
We are 18 days away from Minecraft Legends.
Yeah.
We are. It's like I don't need that, by the way. we are 32 days away from Redfall,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and we are 72 days away from the showcase and Starfield. And if
Yeah.
you want to throw in the middle of that, right? If you want to throw in the middle of that, we are like 67 days away from Diablo 4.
Yep.
Like, this is an insane run.
you got
June-
the Starfield days down too? Like
X-
100
X-
and
yeah.
whatever.
Exo Primals
No,
and hitting in that in Game
Yep.
Pass Day
Yep.
one. You got Street Fighter
Yep.
6. You got
Yeah.
lots of stuff, and then
Yeah.
in the middle of all of this too, we're gonna get into this, but ABK, the biggest news coming from this entire acquisition phase, all this stuff we've been talking about for a year and a couple months now, is going to happen this next few months as well.
Yeah.
So
This is going to be a hell of a run right here.
yeah.
Not even going into fall, right? Not even, just this next 3 months is going to be incredible. Plus, there's going to be some surprises in there as well. We know there's going to be some
Yeah.
stuff that we don't know about. So yeah, no. Otherwise, I've had a hell of a week. A lot of Mass Effect Andromeda with a little bit of Forza Horizon, obviously with the Rally DLC dropping. I did try that out the other night. I have not tried the Midnights or whatever they're calling it. But I did try the Rally, so that was cool. And otherwise, continuing my rewatch of Buffy. So it's been a lot of Buffy and a lot of Andromeda. So
Sweet. Do you like
Yeah.
the Buffy movie better or the show?
No, the show.
I never watched the show really. I
Sure.
liked the movie back in the day though.
The show again, it's on that. Well, I shouldn't even say it's on the cusp. You watch it now, and yeah, the cheese factor is over the top, right? Okay,
Yeah.
the special effects, they couldn't do shit back then. But what I will say is that rewatching it now, and it's been probably 15 years since I last watched it. Rewatching it now, I have a better appreciation for Joss. I know all the shit that he's been accused of and all that kind of stuff, but I'm just talking about as far as a director goes. Watching him do his early work, this was before he became really well known. Obviously, Buffy was one of the stepping stones for him. But going back and watching these shows now, how he did this show is extremely unique. And my God, did he get every ounce of talent out of every single actor in that show that they had in them. It really is awesome. The way that he intertwined the episodes so that you would have something happen in one episode and then you might go 2-3 episodes before he comes back around to that again. That you don't see that a whole lot in shows. And I just appreciate it more now than I ever did before. So I'm having a great time rewatching because it has been a long time.
Well, we've been looking for the next big show to watch, and maybe that's something, since Kate loves it and I never really got into the show, maybe that'll be their next thing, because we just finished Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, on all that whole series, right?
Yeah, if you just want something really light, I mean, again, it's light. It's not like, but there are some, there's some really, and again, I love Sarah Michelle Gellar, so I'm going to be biased in some ways here, but just how she develops the character. Even I'm in season 2, I'm almost the end of season 2, going into season 3. But even from season 1 to season 2, it's such a big leap for her and for her character. And there's some episodes that, are pretty touching or that have some, serious tones to them. Again, the cheese factor's off the charts. It's like watching Power Rangers, right? In a lot of ways, it is. There's a lot of. Is
Goldar in it? Is there gold? Is
no Goldar. Oh. But you got to laugh, right? And it's teenage drama, with her and Angel and all that kind of stuff. So it's got that whole cheese factor to it. But it's fun. It is fun, and it's a great. And like I said, nowadays, now that I watch it back, appreciating what Whedon did with this show, I have a lot more appreciation for what he did and how he got these actors to perform with these crazy storylines. Like, just it's wild, man. So have a good time.
Well, you're selling me on it. How are you, Fuzz? What's up, man? It's been a little while since we've been able to talk.
Oh yeah, it's great right now, and Forza Horizon Rally has been keeping me busy for a bit. But man, oh man, it's been a decent week. Although some bad news in the middle of it with the whole E3 thing, but we'll get into that. But outside of that, man, so glad to be here with you guys. So much to talk about. Let's do this.
Yeah, right on, man. How are you, Psycho?
I'm doing fantastic. Can't wait. E3 is happening this year, and I'm so excited. Yeah.
And the sound effects for Psycho.
Yeah, thank you.
Back.
I do miss it. No, I've been doing great. Been gaming a little bit here and there, but it's sad news that E3 is dead. Maybe it'll be. Maybe it'll come back.
It's just gone forever.
Yeah, it's sad because I never got to experience it. I got to experience like Wizard Coast to Coast or Wizard of the Coast, like Comic-Con type things that happen over in Cleveland, and the car shows that happen. But something like gaming related, I never experienced, and I always wanted to. But unfortunately, now with Microsoft pulling out, and then Ubisoft pulled out, and it looks like they decided to kill it. But can we say that Jeff was a little savage by literally, I think it was like maybe 5 minutes after the announcement.
And he was at an award show while he was doing that too. He was at the BAFTA awards.
So he had the picture ready. He had that shit ready to send. So
he knew what was happening.
Yeah.
He always does, right? And he's on top of it. He never misses an opportunity. Ever.
Oh no, especially because he used to be part of E3, and then I don't know what happened, but then he's like, fuck you guys, I do my own thing. And
even worse than that tweet though was the one where he's like, picture of me as a 15-year-old there at E3. Man, we all loved it. It was a huge part of my life. We miss it, but they didn't evolve.
Right.
And Summer Game Fest is what's next.
King of self-promotion. King of self-promotion.
God, that one was more savage because it was like sweet and nice and respectful. Then it was like, well, fuck you at the end,
Yeah, pretty much.
Interesting.
Well, that's the thing. Like that's the crazy thing. I don't know if we're going to talk about this on the show or not, but it's just crazy how they did not evolve with the times, and they kept it with what that format and overcharged. I mean, Sony started when they dropped out, and then Nintendo, and then now this year with Xbox. So,
well, Xbox was still technically part of it, but without a booth. It was a weird thing this year. Jasper, how are you doing, bro?
I'm doing okay, I guess. Been playing a little bit of Crime Boss Rock City on PC in my free time that I've had this week.
Yeah.
So
God,
that's
I'm
kind
sorry.
of it's all right. It's not that bad. It's
Nope.
a $30 game. I mean,
It's not as bad as what everybody said it was.
it's all right. It's not the best. It's $30, so you kind of got to come in with some.
I understand, but the
expectations.
reviewers didn't give it
Yeah.
any slack. The
Well,
ones
yeah.
I read, at least, were like,
Is that the one with all the actors? in
Yes.
it?
Mhm.
What's better, that or Crossfire X, Jasper?
It's. I mean, it's kind of hard
even
to
the
compare.
pause. Oh, Jesus.
It's just because it's like comparing Call of Duty to like fucking, I don't know, like fucking Wolfenstein or some
Well,
shit. It's like two completely different things, you know.
I need
How's
an
the
answer.
Gunplay? Is the gunplay good?
It's all right.
Okay, so what is good about it?
That's not promising. You did not sell.
Is it the voice acting? Is that what's
No,
good?
fucking Chuck Norris reads it like
I was just gonna say it's
Chuck Norris is like, I was in the helicopter and there was an explosion. It's like, what the fuck you doing? So like,
Wow.
Wow.
They should have gone with AI instead. Probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like something different, fun to play. Like while you're waiting for the bigger stuff to come out. That's kind of why I'm playing it.
Do you regret wasting $30 on it?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
that-
sure.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough. Shout out to Chris Jones. Thanks for rejoining the speculators, bro. Appreciate you. He followed that up saying today is his last day in the gaming community. He's leaving you all he's leaving us all and the community tomorrow. Well, thanks for joining the membership the day before you leave.
Where
Appreciate
are
that.
you and 3-bit going?
Yeah, this is the April Fools. I can smell
They're
it.
going to E3.
I can smell it. They're going to E3. Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to make a post. E3 is back on. Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna redrop the 3 months of PC Game Pass for new users. So I had that free code. So if you want that, you can use that in the chat.
Ooh, grab that code.
Ooh, yeah.
PC. Let's
So,
go, PCMRs.
When Jasper hopped in the pre-show, he told me something. I don't know if you want to share this, but I
Yeah,
thought
I
it was
don't-
absolutely
I don't
fucking
care.
hilarious. Okay.
So I had an interview today for a job, and it was a virtual interview. So like you sit down on your computer, like webcam and stuff or whatever. So like I was trying to be chill and not to be too nervous with it. So I just like went into podcast mode because it was all like headset and stuff. And that's the first thing I said was "yo." I was like, "Son of a fucking bitch."
You were like, yo, Lord
what's
Master
up?
Jasper. Ready to join your job. Let's go.
He did the yo.
Do I get paid vacations, yo?
Wow.
Yo, it's Jasper here. Artificial gaming news in the house. I can run your company artificially. Let's go. Fuck, that was fucking hilarious when he told me that, dude. All right.
Yo.
Yo.
Did you get the job?
Can you imagine it? Yo.
Did you get the job, Jasper?
I don't know. We'll hear back. Maybe.
Okay. Maybe.
You hit him up in the email with a yo, just checking on my job.
Yo, did I get it, yo? Did I get it, yo?
Yo, how we feel about this opportunity? Yo, bitch. Like Jesse Pinkman. All right.
I'm authentic.
Dr. Dinglenut with
I'm just trying to be myself, yo. You know what you're getting here with Jasper.
Dr. Dinglenut says, "Yo, click on my interview."
Oh my God, that was great. Anyway, so yeah, I guess we can get into the bad stuff before we get into all the great, right?
Woo. Gonna do a little PM and a PM. Negative first.
Yeah,
out of the way.
it is a little
Go.
segue into the good, right? So E3 is gone officially again after everybody pulled out. Ubisoft was the latest one, I think, that we got news was not going to be there. I guess they realized if they're going to have an empty convention center and it's just going to be a bunch of people walking around looking for something to do, it's probably not the best thing to have, right? So they decided to shut down shop again. And I think this may be the last attempt at a resurgence here for E3. I don't really see it coming back from this now, and unless something crazy happens. But if you really think about it, this is another year that Keighley gets to grab more of a foothold on the industry, more relationships, more people watching, all that kind of stuff. And without E3 in-person event or anything like that, it just leaves it open for him to claim more dominance over the summer gaming news. So, do y'all think there's any hope that E3 would come back one day?
Yes, but it takes somebody kidnapping Jeff Keighley or something. That's where we're at this point. So
yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Crazy. There's been a lot of work put into this.
If
I would imagine.
it comes
right?
back, it's going to have to come back in such a different way that I don't know if it would still be called E3, but it would be more like a PAX show where it's like more for like actual fans to like meet up with smaller devs.
That's what this was supposed to be. Like that's why they hired Reed Pop that was supposed to do this E3 and all this stuff. But
yeah, but they still wanted their E3 like extra marketing bullshit where you pay them $50,000 for a fucking cardboard box to set up. You know, it's like
yeah. Do you think it's the prices of the booths and stuff that really killed them?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Well, it's the tech plus the prices, right? It just business wise, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it doesn't,
because everything can just be digital and on YouTube.
Sorry, Psycho, I jumped on you.
No, it's fine because you're right because it's a show that could be done digital, like how Xbox did their digital event and Nintendo's been doing, and so, same with Sony. And then you have they have the one plus is the booths that they have. We can have hands on with the games that they're going to be revealed and things like that. But when you charge crazy kind of money, and you know Microsoft has their own theater, and they're like, why would we want to pay this when we can just do this over here? And then they can have other people like Ubisoft come on to announce whatever game or their subscription plan to Xbox, and if they have any other type of devs that want to come on by. So I mean, it's just right now they with the lack of a 2022 presence. Right? Was it 2022 that they canceled? Was it 2021? I think it was 2021 that E3 was canceled, right? Or no?
E3 was canceled in 2020. They had it the last 2 years.
Okay, so it was holy shit. So 2020 is when it was canceled. And then they should have seen the writing that that there weren't a lot of people showing up. I think the last 2 years, more like I think last year more developers didn't come, so they should have seen like, oh shit, maybe we should ease up. Like if they did half the fucking price, maybe they could have retained some of these bigger studios like Ubisoft and pop maybe Microsoft, but I think it was writing on the walls for it to just be no more.
Yeah. So no coming back.
Yeah. The only way they come back is if they have a big partnership. If they have like in writing that these studios are going to be there 100%. And if they have the backing from well, they did have the people that do the PAX East and PAC West and all that. I think they were helping out this time around, but they need something to re-energize E3. It's one of those things that it on a fan standpoint, it's, you know, when you don't have the big three there anymore and it's just Microsoft, it's one of those things. Like Microsoft was carrying E3 for those
E3 was
last
dead when they ended the booth babes. No,
for those last 2 years. Microsoft was carrying E3, and they're like,
yeah.
we're fucking done.
Xbox was E3 the last 2 years. I mean, really, what else was there? I mean, can anybody think of
Nothing.
anything else worthy?
There was the
at
internal
E3?
Take-Two human resources discussion.
Is that real?
Yeah, it was like last year or the year before. They had Take-Two had a fucking like human resource panel or some shit.
Yeah. Fucking weird. I remember we got our press pass for E3 2 years ago, right? And we got to go in there in the back thing and check out all the stuff, and it was like the digital hub they had, and it was the first year that they were trying that, and it was a ghost town. I mean, I saw all these people like with their accounts and stuff, and there was nothing to do. Like the only event really was the digital videos that were put out on YouTube and stuff. So it's just been weird the last couple of years. They tried to make a comeback last year with the digital stuff, but again, Xbox was really the only thing that stood out. So without Xbox, the last 2 years, their digital event being tied to E3, what was it? It wasn't anything. And I think Xbox maybe got comfortable with that position and we're like, we're not going to do a booth again. And that's kind of where they stood this year, right? And they were still going to be tied to it. But at this point, maybe them doing an in-person event again, realize without all the booths, without all these publishers and stuff, like what's the point, you know? So I don't know. I mean,
They really need to shift what E3 is. Like, it's not about like devs going there and trying to pitch their games anymore. It's more about fan engagement with the actual games. They need to shift it to that. Whereas like it needs to be like the
Gamescom.
North American, it needs to be the North American Gamescom or Comic-Con for games or something like
Yeah, but
that.
those publishers all show up for that though. They weren't showing up for this, right?
I know. And it's like there's also 3 packs in America every year. So it's like, is there room for 4 packs in America? So it's like, I don't know. Like, is that too much for smaller teams to just like constantly keep flying out across the country and just losing dev time just to hold an event? So I don't know. Like, maybe they need to shift one of the other packs and like form it into this. But
I think I don't think it's
it has
coming
to
back.
change.
No, it's ultra sad, right? Because it was on my bucket list to go at some point, right? And like I said, it was the mecca at one point for gaming, but it had lost so much of that mystique by this juncture. Again, when Nintendo pulled out and then Sony pulled out, and the digital age came upon us, and along with obviously the pandemic kind of helped speeding that process up. Writing was pretty much on the wall. I still think it's sad. We had these discussions last year and the year prior to, as to what E3 meant. And, Mav, you were always on the side that it was just a name at this point. And, I still had hope that there was a way to bring it back. In fact, one of my predictions was that Sony would come back this year and go toe to toe with Microsoft because they're in competition now. And obviously it was way wrong on that. I think ultimately it would take a united front. It would take a huge swell of support from everybody to try to bring it back in some form. But I think everybody's made the points that what it used to be, the wheeling and dealing that used to go on, because again, there was long before E3 became a place where gamers went. It was only for the industry. There was no gamers. The gamers were locked out. I mean, there was, we waited for the news because so much was happening at A3. So many people were meeting, backroom deals, games being announced out of the blue, like all that kind of stuff. That's what it used to be. And then it transformed into something a little bit bigger when they invited the gamers in. So no, I don't think it can come back. I think the name could live on in some form or fashion. I personally, if Microsoft gets ABK, the way that they're expanding, the way they're growing, they could have like the ultimate fan fest during E3 that could turn into like a mini version, right? Where some people do show up kind of on the coattails of Xbox, because with ABK, with ZeniMax and themselves, and then you throw in the ID at Xbox stuff too with the indie
Or you can have
developers.
people close like Paradox. They could show up and have like a side
Paradox
booth or
could show up.
something.
Right, that's what I'm saying. All the partnerships, like there might be people, if Xbox decided to go that route and decided to make this big fan fest, like, hey, it's not just going to be, it's going to be E3 fan fest or whatever they call it, but it's obviously centered around all things green. Then yeah, you could have those partnerships like you just brought up, Jasper, kind of show up and kind of show off their wares to the fans and kind of meet and greet as kind of a part of it. And I think you could get a little something back. But as far as what E3 was, no, it's gone at this point. It doesn't make business sense. It costs way too much money. Like you guys said, there's a million other shows around the world that they still go to, right? It's not just the United States, it's everywhere. And so there's a lot of investment from these companies elsewhere. And the E3 show just doesn't make sense. And obviously for Microsoft with their own theater right there, of course it doesn't make sense renting out, a space at E3 anymore. So yeah, no, I think it is gone. I think this is the final breath of E3. Unfortunately, it had to go out this way after the pandemic and really not having anything. I would like to see a couple final hurrahs from E3, but no, this is where we're at. So I think we all got to deal with it and realize that if you didn't get to an E3 like me, you never will. And you're gonna have to make other plans to maybe go to something else. Maybe maybe the other shows become bigger because the industry is still growing. And obviously, Dutch and Boxenberger are going to Gamescom over in Germany and all that kind of stuff. And it's a huge deal over there. So maybe some of these other places kind of grow since E3 is not around. Maybe the packs here get bigger as the years go by, and maybe we can meet up there some point. But I think that E3.
The thing is, like, I could see it shift into being something more like Comic-Con, where you have like at Comic-Con they have the panels for like a movies where all the actors and the director comes out and they do like an hour like talking about it or some interview or something like that. Like you could do that for a game. You could have like the game director and some of the cast or something come out and just like talk about the upcoming game. But with the game industry, it's kind of so secretive. They only show you a 5-minute trailer and it's like, we're dark for 3 years. So it's like, I don't know if they'd want to do that, but that would be the direction they would have to go with that show if they want to like.
The interesting thing with Xbox too is now they're starting to do this developer direct thing, which they may have another show later this year, potentially even after the summer. Are they going to be part of Summer Game Fest now? Maybe I saw Keeley and Summer Game Fest account quote tweet the Xbox showcase, trying to kind of hype it and claim it, but
he's gonna do that because it's all part of that week.
Yeah,
right?
So they're trying to associate it.
Yes.
So, but I don't know if it's an officially, a thing or not. But regardless, Xbox is still probably the biggest show in town. It has been the last several years.
Yeah.
Their event is more like, I think it's going to be the biggest one they've had yet. Even potentially bigger than the one we had 2 years ago, where we all thought it was like the best show they've ever had. They just have too much to reveal, too many things that will have already released to not have a bunch of new stuff, right? So I'm excited about that. The question is, and Aaron Greenberg tweeted yesterday, kind of just re-solidifying the plans for Xbox is that they are Xbox showcases on June 11th, followed by the developer direct in a doubleheader, right? Question we don't know, and he responded to somebody saying that there's more to announce later about in-person type event or whatever. So I don't know if they're going to be doing like a watch party style thing like they did last year. If they're going to actually have some kind of live audience for it, for at least the showcase part. So that's kind of unclear right now, but I do miss, for me, E3, part of the magic was that live crowd during the shows. Because seeing everybody's reaction was part of it, and you kind of miss that when you're just getting the video things, right?
From what was it? I think it was Colt that tweeted that said that it could be a watch party because of what the interview between Sarah Bond and the young lady from Xbox On with that interview is why they're suggesting it could be a watch party.
Yeah, it makes sense, and that's cool and all, but it's still not the same as having Phil Spencer walk out on stage in front of an audience of people, you know, to a
All
bunch
those
of
moments.
applause and
You
stuff. And
brought
then,
up a bunch of those moments last night, Matt. Right?
yeah,
It's all those moments.
the memories.
Keanu Reeves moments, all those kind of moments that you're just not going to have anymore.
You may
And
not
that's-
have like the celebrities, but you did have that at the watch party last year. Like all of the CEO, well, all the executives were there, and they would come out on stage.
The thing is, Fuzz, you had to be at the watch party to see that, right?
Yeah.
For us, like at home, which you were there, right? For us at
Yeah.
home watching, we just see the event without the camaraderie and the audience reaction and stuff. So it's like it comes across different to me when you're watching those old E3 showcases, right?
You're missing that,
Yeah.
like, almost that. I don't know if it's like necessarily cheesy, but when you have like fucking the kid come out and play fucking Connectimals and they're like jumping around on stage, you miss those like stupid moments like that where it's just like,
yeah. The you know, the whole nature of it as a festival, as a gathering, again, as I call it, the mecca for gamers, is just gone, man. And that was all part of it, all the pomp and circumstance and everything that went into it, the festivities and the over the topness and all that kind of stuff. That's all gone. And unless Microsoft decides, like I said, to go bigger with their stuff, which they certainly could, because they're going to have more than enough content to fill up days if they want to, and they could televise that, right? They could put on like their own show at the Microsoft Theater with Phil coming out, with Sarah coming out, introducing things live and having that crowd reaction. They could even, if they wanted to, attach themselves directly to Keighley's Summerfest. You know, have Keighley, who obviously knows how to put on production. I mean, there's no question about that. Have his team come in and, you know, shoot it live and, you know, do that kind of stuff for you. You could certainly make it that way. It's just, again, the overall feeling with that.
Did it switch because it became more for the fans? Like, whereas before it was like more that like internal, like Steve Jobs coming out on stage, like, this is our next greatest innovation in gaming or whatever. Like, it was kind of that for the like marketers and all that stuff.
Right. Yeah, that's where the marketing deals were done.
And then it kind of switched. So now we got this like more basic stuff for the
Correct.
fans.
Like Peter Moore showing up, revealing the tattoo and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, they wanted the Comic-Con interaction so they can kind of get that money from fans type thing. Like how Comic-Con is for, you know, and E3, that's why I think E3 went to with the fans, inviting them and whatnot, and just being reporters and people from industry only. And then, you know, it kind of got hype and everyone was excited.
It changes the atmosphere when you do that. And it obviously it made things tough for journalists. Journalists really felt put out.
Yeah, I remember after that first year, they had people, the journalists, like
all the people in the industry hated it.
They talked shit about it for like weeks. Like, that sucks. Like, we didn't get any like time and all that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah, if you weren't IGN with your own stage there, that you had interviews lined up, journalists were having a hard time getting devs. I mean, they were trying to get information. Again, things like that happen, and you got to find a balance. But again, we're talking about stuff that doesn't matter anymore because it really doesn't at this point. We're not going to get that part back, at least down in LA, at least underneath the E3 banner. I think it is gone permanently, and I don't think it's coming back. And so now it's going to be the smaller shows. It's going to be the PAX. It's going to be the Gamescoms. It's going to be those that pick up the slack that are going to have to, you know, find that balance and make sure that they don't lose, you know, that atmosphere both on the professional side and for the gamers themselves. And if they can do it like a Comic-Con, if they can continue, you know, to improve upon that, then maybe, like I said, those get bigger over the long haul as the industry continues to grow. I just think E3 just, they failed. They became too expensive for everybody involved, and it just didn't make sense in 2020, you know, in the 2020s with tech to do it that way anymore, because the deals are now done elsewhere. They're not done at E3. And again, back in the day, that was the big part of E3. That's when everything got done. Marketing deals, game deals, publishing deals, all of that stuff. Devs were being signed on the floor after a publisher played their game. Like, that's what used to happen at E3, and that was the news that we got out of it. And so I'm sad. And, you know, the big thing for me always was that all the information was really condensed down to a week. We got everything. We got all the news cycle within that week. The scattering of randomness that we now get ever since the pandemic, to me, it sucks. It doesn't feel the same.
E3 was never the same after G4 went away, to be honest. Like once G4 went away, it's like
Yep.
E3 never felt the
Yes.
same.
Yeah, because G4 brought that to the audience for gamers at home.
You always have those big shows, and they would come out like on stage and be like, "You remember that game you just saw at Xbox show, whatever? Well, we have a 20-minute sit down with that dev, and we're gonna show you more in-depth gameplays." Like that shit was awesome, and it's like,
oh yeah, and that was the thing. It was like the back and forth between G4 and E3, and it was just really vibing. And then it just like, and then G4 went away, and then just things weren't the same after that, and then Sony left, and it just snowballed with E4, E3.
Yeah. Ultimately, things are still good, right? I mean, on the Xbox world, as far as shows, because they're at least the ones still holding the big show. There's lots of stuff happening and stuff, but like, my dream was always to be in the audience at a live show, right, and be there with the crowd when people come on stage and show this stuff, and just be like, embrace the excitement of what's happening in these new game reveals and stuff. And we were potentially close to being able to have that happen, right? But now it's just taken away, wrestled from our grip, right? So close, if only we had started this channel 10 years ago. but we did not. However, like I said, things are still we're gonna miss E3. I'm gonna miss all those moments. I'm gonna miss that condensed week of just awesomeness. In a way,
me, though, once I went to a smaller show, I never wanted to go to E3 because I knew that, like, at a smaller show, you actually get more time to do more stuff there. Whereas, like, E3, like, you're just going to be kind of sitting in line for the entire fucking day to see one thing. But it was
the experience more.
Yeah, I know. It's just like,
what I'm saying, it really is. Like, it is. Like, you it doesn't matter what you choose. If you go to a smaller venue to watch a band, it feels much more personal. It feels like this. But there is also something going to a giant stadium with 100,000 people and cheering on your favorite band with everybody who loves that band, right? There's a difference. Like, I would personally pick the smaller venue, of course, because it is more personal. But that energy that you get out of a place like that is different when you're there, and that I think that's what's going to be missing. So.
Yeah, it's a different world now though than when E3 started and everything.
I just want to see some live stuff. I think you bring up a good point, Mav. If Xbox is going to carry on with this, if they're going to continue to do this yearly at the Microsoft Theater, I would like them to find a way to do a production.
They completely could
film. Yeah, they could. Now, I absolutely, and they're going to be giant. Like I said, if this ABK deal goes through, my God, they're going to have so much.
They could have the Xbox Fan Fest coming back or whatever, or XO or whatever. Would be massive after ABK. I mean, you could have so much stuff there. You could have your whole Activision Blizzard section. You have your whole Bethesda's ZeniMax section. You have your traditional Xbox first party section. You have all these different devs and everything. And there would be so much stuff there. I mean, there's already so much damn games coming for Xbox and everything that it would be unique. But
I just realized they're going to get BlizzCon as well too when they get Blizzard.
Yeah, they'll have BlizzCon, QuakeCon.
Yep.
Then they Minecon. Yeah.
Yep.
Then
so
they also have
E3, call it X3.
Yeah.
And have everything that they're associated with plus the Game Pass.
There you go, Fuzz.
There.
Then you got like the Call of Duty League, like that stuff, like all MLG type shit.
If they bring back MLG to prominence, it's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of opportunity, but we'll see what all they take advantage of. If they
Call of Duty tournament, Halo tournament. All MLG style, officially sanctioned. Can you imagine?
Yeah, and we talked about this for like when they acquired ZeniMax Bethesda. Like, they're gonna have to figure out different ways of doing news and releases because they're gonna have too much stuff. Now we got the developer directs is a sign of that, but they at least are still doing their big shows, and I think they're gonna keep continuing to do that in one format or another. And this format this year, I have a feeling is going to be similar to last year's. Right? Maybe not the 12-month thing. My fingers, but we know that it's looking like it's probably a digital event and maybe some watch parties, right? So we'll see what happens with that. I would maybe like to go to one of those watch parties at some point, but it's not the same as going to go to like E3, you know.
No.
So I don't know. Fuzzy, was it worth it last year for you to go?
I had fun. Probably spent more money than I probably should have.
Right. That's what I'm
But,
getting at. You know.
I would say if they could do a complete mix with like the whole thing with Ubisoft leaving the E3 and still quote unquote doing an in-person thing, if more publishers like that would team up with Xbox and have it at, let's say, the Microsoft Theater, and it's like 2 or 3 days, that would totally be worth it to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
A 1 or 2 day thing, if you're in the area, no problem. But hotel and flight, yeah, that gets up there pretty quick.
Yeah, the part of it is location too. LA is just so fucking expensive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like they could. I obviously LA is like, oh, it's LA.
You
right?
also you don't want to have it in like fucking Kansas because you like
Yeah,
no one's
but
in
there's
fucking Kansas.
other places you could do these things at that would make more sense financially. But the thing is with Microsoft, they got the Microsoft Theater there in LA, so they're kind of locked into that. That's what they're going to use. And but if E3 ever came back, in order to get the cost down, I would think maybe they would consider to draw more excitement, more people showing up and stuff. I don't know. Maybe move it from LA.
They could do it like they do with Xbox XO or whatever, where they do a different city every year or whatever.
Yeah.
You should rotate it.
Yeah. I was like Texas, Chicago. Chicago is up north. It's centrally located. You got Texas is centrally located, right? And Texas is a lot cheaper to do things like that than in Chicago. So for June is also usually really good weather here as well. So you could either do Dallas, you could do Houston, you could do San Antonio, you could do Austin. San Antonio would be the best decision. I would choose Dallas.
I was gonna say this is Mav where it's like, yeah, you just put it in my backyard.
No,
we got an instance over here, guys.
Hey guys,
we
look,
got
my mission's close by.
I would
Let's just run over here
choose-
and do this mission. You guys
I
wanna do
would-
this mission?
obviously I would choose Dallas because it's like my backyard, right? But business wise, looking for them, San Antonio makes the most sense. Because it's the cheapest. It's also a great city. It's great for like foot traffic and stuff. You know, lots of restaurants, lots of shopping. It's a super chill city, and you can have like a huge convention there, probably a lot cheaper than you can in like Dallas or Houston, right?
Florida's good too. Tampa has a lot of businesses and it's pretty
Austin
chill.
has one of the like bigger conventions, South by Southwest. So that city's kind of used to having a big convention go on.
Austin. Yeah.
I think Austin would probably be their choice because I think there's quite a few studios out in that region too.
Yeah.
Although
York is
Xbox
always a
does
good
have
place.
a Bethesda studio in Dallas, don't they?
Austin.
Arcane.
There's
Arcane.
Bethesda's in Dallas, has a Dallas studio. There's also Gearbox.
Arcane also.
Gearbox is in Dallas. 3D Realms is in Dallas. id has Dallas. There was there's a lot of studios.
Isn't that where I think QuakeCon's in Dallas, isn't it?
Yep. It's at the Gaylord Texan. Is a big, nice, fancy hotel in Grand Prairie. It's like short drive from the airport. That's where they usually have it, but they didn't have it the last 2 years. I can't remember if they had it last year. It might have been canceled. I can't remember, but it's coming. It's going to come back.
I don't think they did QuakeCon last year.
Yeah, it'll come back.
Yeah, they did. That's where we got the Redfall.
Was
thing.
it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But no, it was the digital only QuakeCon.
Yeah, it was digital only, but
Yeah.
I mean they had it.
Yeah. And then the year before that, it was canceled.
Where's BlizzCon?
That's it. That's in
Minnesota, where all the blizzards are.
No, it's
No,
in California.
it's
It's
not.
not LA. It's like Santa Monica or something like that. It's like
okay. So
it's
it
not.
is Cali. It's Cali though. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there's lots of stuff to be excited about. Microsoft. Let's get into the good. Right. And we alluded to this before the show started here on the intros and stuff, but we're in for. It's going to be April 1st tomorrow, right? Between April 1st and September the 6th, we have the craziest, most probably biggest 5-month span in Xbox history. Leading off with potentially the ABK deal closing. If it does close, it'll be closed before September 6th, right? I think most people would agree with that unless they actually renegotiate the terms of the deal, which they said they're not going to, but we'll see, right? You looking like the biggest news from the ABK deal is going to be happening here in April, maybe in May as well. So you have that. And if the ABK deal closes, that's going to be monumental, right? It's going to be just insane. You're going to see news out the wazoo coming from that. Things happening left and right. Similar to after ZeniMax Bethesda finalized. We had games entering Game Pass. We had all these different stuff happening. But it'll be even times 10 with ABK. You're already starting to see a little bit of marketing and cross-promotion and stuff between ABK and Microsoft. You have Candy Crush showed up in the Microsoft Rewards thing the other day. It was really weird. Don't know what that was about.
Testing.
Yeah,
Testing.
you clicked on
They
it,
were-
nothing happened. It was
They were
weird.
doing that thing with the Bejeweled too, where like you can play phone games and get Microsoft rewards. So like
Yeah,
it's
They're testing.
it just said
Yeah.
click on the check out Candy Crush. You click on it and it's like this isn't available. It's like okay, you got 5 points for it, whatever. But they also have the Diablo 4 special edition bundle or whatever coming with Diablo. You can see the writings on the wall. They're already wanting to get the ball rolling and all this stuff. ABK is going to be one of the biggest things happening, right? But like Pong was shouting out some of these things happening soon before the show. It's not just about ABK. We have lots of games hitting, including Minecraft Legends, Ghostwire Tokyo is going to be in Game Pass. You have Exo Primal is going to be in Game Pass day one. You have Starfield, Redfall, all these games with the culmination being
Motorsport probably somewhere in there.
Motorsport maybe in there somewhere or maybe a little
Somewhere.
after. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or potentially. So you're talking about just a massive amount of games. That doesn't include a lot of third-party games too, like Diablo, which may be part of first party around that time, and also Street Fighter 6. Insane amount of shit, just left and right, happening this next 4 months, 5 months, and then in the middle of it all, we're gonna have the Xbox showcase and the developer direct, which we're gonna get even more big news. So I'm just trying to prepare the community. I'm trying to prepare you guys, the chat, for it's about to get fucking crazy around here. This year's already been nuts up to this point with as many good games as we're getting. I'm enjoying the hell out of MLB The Show right now. Absolutely loving it. Some of the best gaming in the last several years have already been happening this first few months of 2023. But the gauntlet's about to be laid. This shit's about to get crazy. Let me get to this $5 super chat real quick from Chris Jones. Appreciate you, Chris. And he said the Lords would love for you guys to hang out with us at PAX East. Yo, that'd be fun, man. I would
Shout
love
out
to
to
hang
the
out
Lords
with the
too for all the great coverage and
Yeah,
you too, Chris,
they're doing their work.
personally, doing the work out there and doing a lot of work
Yeah.
out there. Not just hanging out and having a good time.
Yep.
Putting in the actual work to give us content, a lot of it. So
Yeah.
appreciate all of you
Covering that shit better than
especially the
IGN.
stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, great interviews, great
Yeah.
articles. Yeah, the Iron Lords are on top.
Yeah.
So,
So great job, guys. I concur. But what do I mean? Do y'all agree with me that this next 4 or 5 months is gonna be potentially the craziest that we've seen for Xbox and their history, potentially?
Definitely has the potential of it. I mean, given what we already know is on the horizon as far as coming out, sure. But the E3, their showcase on the 11th and 12th, I have a feeling they've been kind of sitting on their hands with a lot of unannounced things, or even some of the leaked projects that we've known about. I think there's plenty a bit more that they'll be able to discuss. But yeah, we just got the Forza Horizon DLC. Fingers still crossed for, between that timeline of April 1st and sometime in September that we see Forza Motorsport, or at least get a release date or something. But yeah, they definitely have a pretty decent lineup here, and with Diablo 4 being one of those that's going to I'm going to say like a 99.9% chance of being first party by the time it goes to release. This is craziness. I mean, we've already been in the craziness for these first 3 months, or about 3 months of this year with all the releases and Game Pass and things like that. So I think these next 3, 4, 5 months are going to be even crazier. I mean, the backlog is already building up, and I haven't even had a chance to touch Atomic Heart, or there was another game that was on my list, and it's like, man, I just I can't keep up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, even today's interview with I think it was yesterday with Xbox On, Sarah Bond even indicated that there's a lot of new things to be announced that she can't talk about because she went to
the BAFTA Awards.
Yeah, BAFTA Awards, and well, no, it was something about I think because she was in England, so there's something that she alluded to. There's a lot of things that she can't talk about that she's seen, and things are looking really good this year. And because that was one of the questions, how things how it's shaping up for Xbox this year, and she pretty much was like, yeah, just wait, pretty much.
Yeah, they're not gonna say, well, we're down in the dumps, we're closing shop.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that there's things that we don't know about that is coming down the pipeline. So
we know things have been put on hold, right, Psycho? We know for a fact that things have been put on hold, that there's been a lot of smoke and mirrors being used to present themselves as the weakest link in the industry, even though we all know that's not true. But they've been doing this show for a while now because of ABK, and the floodgates have to open at some point. Again, business has to move forward at some point. And now that the tide is kind of turning, that they've kind of settled down the regulatory bodies outside of the FTC, they've kind of got them all lined up right where they want them. Now you can start, moving forward. You're not going to just, you're not going to fire all cannons at one time. But as we approach E3, more and more is going to come out. Ubisoft Plus is going to be something that comes through, right? The Game Pass, Friends and Family is going to come out finally. That kind of stuff, I think they purposely held back this entire time, but I think that's now got to come into play. And then I think, as we talked about last year, when we thought before we knew that they were going to do 12 months only, they've got. I keep going back to Mav and his solo video that he did a year and a half ago now, Mav, where you broke it down in 40 plus things that we knew about, 40 plus titles in development that we knew about that had code names or official names. They've got to start talking about those. In Exile, Compulsion, all that stuff, State of K3 update. We've got to see this stuff at some point. And I think that you're spot on that this E3 could be, again, not a place where they show off everything, but definitely more so than they did last year with the 12-month plan. I think they go away from that. This year, I'm leaning more that they go away from that, and I think they do sell some hopes and dreams a little bit. I think that they push into 2025 with some of the announcements, or at least give us updates on some of the games that'll be between now and 2025. So yeah, I think it's time. I think that they're more comfortable with the ABK deal than they have been. And they're going to start opening up, and showing us some of the stuff they've been holding back this entire time. And this is the perfect spot to do it during this E3 week, with the potential of ABK being closed or very close to being closed at that point. This is going to be huge. And I think that's why Phil, in that interview 2 weeks ago, when he said, or 3 weeks ago, whatever it was at this point, where he said, no, we're locked in on June. We're locked in on the E3 time, our showcase. And we're very happy with where we're at with that. I think that shows extreme confidence that they've got everything kind of planned the way that they wanted to. There's not going to be a whole lot of, oops, we got to pull this, or we can't show this, or we're going to plug this in. I don't think there's going to be any of that this year. I think this year it is going to be a lot that they're going to give us. So excited.
Yeah. I just put a poll out there on Twitter. Are we allowed to keep calling this E3? Because Pong just called it E3 mistakenly, probably like 4 times, and I'm going to keep doing it because it's just in our nature. You know what I mean? Like,
Anytime you get a week where like every major person is doing their own show, like that's E3. Like that's
Right.
what it is.
I mean, what, we're gonna switch to Summer Games Fest. Just start calling
Yeah.
everything Summer
Yeah.
Games Fest.
Hey, you all excited for
that's too many
SGF? SGF is coming this year. Yeah, SGF. Fuck that.
I think maybe
can't.
like
Keely wants that.
maybe
Yeah, I'm
after
sure
like
it does.
5 or 6 years of E3 not being a thing, maybe you just start
Yeah.
calling it by its actual shows. But like right now, it's so ingrained like
It
within
just-
people.
And everybody knows the
Yeah.
time frame that you're talking about when you say E3, right?
Yeah.
It's a general time frame. Everybody gets it. So.
Mhm. And this year the time frame's still intact because SGF is on June the 8th, right? June the 8th, and then Microsoft show is on June 11th. Ubisoft show is June 12th. So that's 3 shows that we know about within 4 days of each other.
We think Ubisoft is doing it at the Microsoft Theater. Fuzzy, I know you do. Right? You think they're
Yeah.
going to do it in Microsoft Theater? Does everybody
Mhm.
else? What does
No,
everybody else
I
thoughts?
it's
no.
the turnaround would be too tight on them. Xbox would have to
Okay.
get everything out, and then Ubisoft would have to ship everything in. I think that
Okay.
turnaround would be too tight.
I think Ubisoft's just going to be a digital thing again. Unless did they say it was going to be in person?
They did say in person, but
Yeah.
I'm figuring they were probably on the phone with Aaron Greenberg and whatnot, and trying to figure out, hey, can we just get a table in the corner and show off?
Well, you can't have a bunch of people do just dance in a corner.
It's gonna be Yves in his office on his IBM ThinkPad showing off the games. That's what it's gonna be.
No, I'll tell you what Ubisoft show is going to be. They're gonna find this abandoned warehouse in the city and make sure they put graffiti on the walls and everything.
Get 45
And-
camera angles so they
and they have like
Yes. High ice.
there'll be nobody there but cameramen, and there's gonna be one person on keep going like this constantly to the different cameras talking about
Yves.
the fucking game. Yeah, you're gonna be excited to see this next game that's coming up at this show, everybody. Where's the camera? Fuck, I'm going crazy. Skull and Bones is delayed again. I'm sorry. Assassin's Creed Mirage, you're not going to get that either. But we got Ubisoft
We got-
Plus, so you can
We
subscribe
got
to things
Sam
that don't have any
What's-His-Face.
games.
Sam What's-His-Face is coming
We
back.
got Tom Clancy, Sam Fisher's future soldier, so he's now in space. So get ready for that, everyone, in 15 years.
Sam Fisher's going to the moon, everybody.
Yeah.
And you can play it on your cell phone.
It's gonna be great. Yeah, you can play it on your cell phone. It'll be everywhere.
Rayman meets Splinter Cell, and their newest Rayman crossover, Rayman Splinter Cell Legends, the newest tactical over-the-head mobile game coming to you from Ubisoft.
With NFTs.
Get your own unique Rayman Sam Fisher character that you can trade. Where the fuck did we get to this point?
Because anytime we bring up Ubisoft, we got to make fun of them. They've been so horrible.
They have had the worst shows out of everybody the last few years, by far.
Mm.
The only decent thing they had was the
They've never
Stretch.
had like a really good show, though. They've always just been either like all right or like, what the hell was that?
yeah. I mean, I remember one year being super excited to watch Ubisoft's show because they had a lot of good games coming out. And then James Cameron literally talked about Avatar for like
And
2
himself.
hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this a gaming show? I'm confused right now. And then it was all about that Avatar shitty. It was okay. That licensed game that came out,
Mhm.
right? That was supposed to change the gaming landscape forever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
It was a fun, okay game, but yeah, it wasn't all that.
Now we're gonna get Avatar Far Cry, so it's gonna be a
Yeah.
Oh, God.
That was some interesting information that
Yeah.
came out. It is looking
Yeah.
more and more like it's a Far Cry, a clone
Yeah.
type game.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Ubisoft
I'm not
formula.
complaining.
I'm fine with it. Again, I'm not excited to play this. If it's in Ubisoft Plus and that's a part of my Ultimate subscription, or I get a break on it and I'm paying for it, then yeah, sure, I'm obviously gonna play it because I like Ubisoft games. But
Yeah.
again, what they talked about today, I was like, okay, all great, okay.
I just can't
Pretty
wait for the mission till we find Sam Fisher on Pandora.
Right.
It's gonna be
You're gonna
amazing.
get the whole team back together. They're gonna pull in everybody. We're gonna have to go find Rainbow Six operators. Bring them into the war. That's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be a big mix mash of all their games.
Yeah.
We're gonna go find some assassins to join the crew. It's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be. I mean, still gonna be a fun week though with
Yes.
Ubisoft. Regardless, we watch that show to see what the hell's gonna happen. I think, if nothing else, and then Microsoft show, and then Summer Game Fest. I think takes another step up. Yeah, I think the last couple of years got better each year, right? So,
last year was a little down on it, but
well, the year before that it was trash. So last year was
year was the one where they had fucking Troy Baker come in and talk for fucking 45 minutes.
It was
so.
a Troy Baker podcast.
Yeah,
great.
So the year before that it was all like,
I didn't mind.
It was
year, so.
The year before that it was like all Fall Guys shit and like other like small stuff like that.
The year prior was the advertisements too. Remember?
Yeah,
nonstop.
Yeah, it was just like
brought to you by T-Mobile and Verizon.
It was
insane. And so last year's was a step up with a lot of stupid filler that we
Pokemon Kia. What the hell was that thing?
Oh yeah, was that? Yeah,
that was last year.
Was that that was Gamescom? I think, wasn't it?
Was that Gamescom?
Yeah.
Was
I think
it?
so.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I thought that was Keeley's.
I know they had the Rock energy drink or whatever.
The Rock energy drink.
God.
Oh yeah, him all sweaty from working out.
But he couldn't even bother taking the time away to film a professional video.
No.
He's like, I'm supposed to do this now? Hold on. Let me get it. Anybody got a towel? I'm perspirating all over the fucking camera. But I think that this year should be better, right? I mean, E3 especially not being here, like they got to show their game somewhere, right?
Depends what he's got lined up, right?
Maybe.
Who's showing what where?
Do you think he was going and trying to keep people from E3?
Well,
I mean that's kind of what he does.
No, I know, but like what? How? Like maybe he offers like, hey, we'll put your shit in our show. You don't have to pay anything or whatever, or maybe pay like a small amount, sponsor, but you don't have to have this huge fucking booth or anything.
No. He was taking trailers and announcements away from everybody anyways. So at this point, that's what he's doing. I mean, he's showing his viewership. He's showing how he's growing every single year. Everybody knows Keeley's influence. So it's not that hard of a sell to get people to, say, hey, why do you need an E3 booth?
Yeah.
You can just show your game here and you're going to get more eyes on it than you will. Yeah, you'll get more eyes on it than you will anywhere else. So just come on over. So that's exactly what was happening anyway. So
yeah.
Well, here's the elephant in the room, and I know this is Xbox Ultimate, but I gotta ask this.
Oh,
what do we think? When does Sony wake up and do a showcase? Like, do you think they just put it in Summer Games Fest, or are they going to actually do something with a showcase this year?
When was their summer show last year?
It was like a month or two after E3, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, like July
somebody said they had something on June 2nd, but I didn't remember that. Last night when I was doing my solo show, somebody said that they had a June 2nd showcase.
Was that a state of play?
Yeah, they did. They had a state of play live stream on June 2nd. It was 30 minutes, nearly 30 minutes. And
maybe it was so ass that was it ass that we didn't count it or something? Like it was like so bad, it was like that don't count.
I think that was one of those that were like that, because it wasn't the God of War one. It was whatever was before God of War, and I think it was like an indie and something else.
I think they had Last of Us remaster there or remake. I'm just trying to scroll through.
They need a showcase
because last year we were questioning it. We're like, man, we were like, Sony did pull it off. Jeff Keighley was a little rough. I was like, hopefully Xbox can save E3 this year.
So they had the Resident Evil 4 announcement last year. I'm trying to see. They had the Village update stuff. So they had a lot of
things that have been there the last fucking 4 years.
Yeah. Then they had trying to scroll through this. But some VR bullshit. They had
every other state of play.
No Man's Sky. They had Horizon VR. Yeah, they had a lot of VR stuff. Took up like a good 5-10 minutes of it. They had Stray.
Okay.
Was there
a Game of the Year contender? Was there? Wow.
And let's see, what was this? They had is this Death Stranding 2 or the Death Stranding director's cut?
Oh, probably the director's cut, because they haven't technically officially announced Death Stranding 2 just yet.
Shout out to
I thought,
Vampire
yeah,
Survivors,
yeah,
by
they
the
have
way.
Death Stranding too.
Afterwards.
Didn't Kojima come out and say that they're working on it?
Oh,
He
that
was
was
like,
no,
it's
sorry.
D2, baby. It's coming out.
Callisto
okay.
Protocol was there. It was Callisto Protocol. So I mean, they had some decent stuff. I mean, it was like a shorter show. It was only like 30 minutes.
That's all their state of plays normally are.
Yeah, they had a
I don't-
40. They had a
Sony's-
40-something minute one in the fall. That was way better.
I don't think Sony's coming back to E3 because they've already been gone for fucking 10 years. So they're like, they don't see a
Well,
point in it.
They
No,
had
they need a
Tekken
showcase.
6.
They need to showcase. The only thing is if they do team up with Keeley, they could
Sorry.
team up with Keeley and have a special day because obviously that
Yeah, but they're just gonna give him like the Spider-Man trailer and
that's
stuff. So
that's
it's
what
like,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, but they got to have a showcase at some point here. They do. They got to sell hopes and dreams again. They're selling like crazy, so maybe they don't. Maybe they look at their console sales right now and just like, okay, whatever. We'll announce a VR, price cut.
Mhm.
And then we'll just keep selling consoles because everybody's buying them. So, but I think that they do need a showcase. They need to show up Wolverine. They need a teaser for Wolverine. Showing something gameplay wise. They need to get Spider-Man 2 out there at some point if they're going to launch it in September. They've got to do something between. You can't wait too much. I mean, you can, I guess. You can.
yeah.
You can
There's
wait.
games that have been like kind of 3 months out.
No, they could do July. They could do July, I guess, and still get it out there. But I would, if I was Sony, I would do it before. I would do April or May,
Yeah.
and I would, pull a full showcase on them.
Well,
everybody. But,
They also had Street Fighter 6 and Final Fantasy 16. So
Yep.
ultimately, they had some good games there, right? It was just a shorter show. But so looking ahead at the timeline, though, like as Final Fantasy 16 is slated to release on June 22nd, right? So early
Yeah, it's gone
June, late
gold.
May
It's done.
would make sense for that.
it must be perfect.
Yeah,
It's
weird.
There better not be any bugs. That's all. Like, why do you announce gold and you're done? Like 3 months prior.
If
Why
that
not?
game comes out and runs at like fucking
Right.
44 frames, 720p, people are gonna be
Right.
mad.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why would you not keep working on it? But okay, all right.
Then they also have Spider-Man 2 to market, which the rumors are September.
And the new
Mhm.
PlayStation 5, if that's coming this year, they're
Yeah.
gonna have to market that.
So I would think June would make sense for them to do a lot of this early June. So maybe they do it with Keeley's at the Keeley's and just do all those
Mhm.
things there on the 8th,
But-
or they do their own thing beforehand.
But how many times has Sony ever done anything with Keeley as a show, though?
Well, the entire
haven't
Game
done-
Awards last year was a fucking was a PlayStation.
Yeah, but that's not. Yeah, but that's just
Sony
because
always gives
wasn't
Keeley
there.
like something big. Like they
But-
gave him the Last of Us 2 news, or the Last of Us.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, you had
Factions news
fucking
last
10
year.
minutes of
Yeah.
interviewing Troy Baker about
Yeah.
voice acting the fucking Last of Us, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like Sony actually like being there, like doing and
They're never going to be really be there, Psycho. They're not going to really. Be
I was just saying lots of stuff there.
Event.
Yeah.
Well, they'll have a lot of stuff. Well, they always.
That's
have
what
a
I'm
lot
saying.
of
They,
stuff
do they just give Keeley everything, or do they have their own event? That's
If
what I'm
it-
saying.
I
Like,
think if they're going to put out the PlayStation Slim this year, they're going to have their own event where they talk about that for like
Yeah.
5 or 10 minutes because they're going to try to market that thing as the fucking newest goddamn piece of technology out there. It's
This is
just
your external hard drive.
yeah.
Your disk.
Yeah,
Remember these for your laptops, everybody? We're bringing them back for your PlayStation 5.
so Ed
Yeah.
Enzo says that Grubb said that their showcase is supposed to be the weekend before Xboxes. So that would be like a couple days before Summer Game Fest, I guess.
Yeah, and then
Um,
they would give Jeff Keighley whatever their big game is there to talk more about it, I guess.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. We're gonna
Metal
have
Gear
a
Solid
little bit
remake.
more of a drawn out week. I mean, than typical for like a E3, But overall,
Well, last year's
it's still gonna
E3
be
was like a
big.
fucking month long because EA's was like 3 weeks later.
Yeah. What I don't even remember what they had. Did they have like nothing?
I mean, it's EA. What do they have?
Yeah. I mean, EA used to do like Anthem and stuff like that. It was like, oh, they really tried
They used to
promote
do like Anthem.
it. I mean, they really tried to promote Anthem at
Yeah, I
fucking,
know.
at E3.
Did they show off Jedi Survivor last year?
Uh,
Wasn't that the tease?
Might have been.
I think
I
it
don't
came.
remember.
I think the footage came later in the year. I don't think they did it.
was that
during
at the
summer.
Disney's or was that at a Disney show? Maybe I don't know.
think So.
No, it could have been at the Star Wars thing that Disney had. Yeah. D23 Expo, where they talk about a bunch of the Star Wars stuff there.
Yeah.
It could have been there. Because they had D23 had their own gaming show this year, which sucked. It was really bad. I mean, there was
It was like 16 seconds of gameplay and a whole bunch of talking.
that's where we got the Skydance Media new Marvel game. The Captain America Black Panther game was announced there, but it kind of underwhelmed.
I mean, EA shows have went downhill fucking real quick over the last few years anyway. So
yeah,
because EA used to be on kind of par with that Ubisoft thing, where it's like they might have an all right show if they don't talk 45 minutes about Madden. But
Still think that's the merger that needs to happen somehow, some way. EA and Ubisoft.
They used to talk about FIFA and Madden at every E3 on somebody's show. Usually, it was like at Xbox's show or somebody's show.
Yeah,
they would come out and they like have a soccer player.
We've revolutionized Madden. We got the tackle break system.
Yeah,
it's more like the real life than ever. You can run and hit this button, and your guy's gonna break the tackle like real life. Meanwhile, the ball is like flying through someone. It's like, okay.
Real Motion 5.0.
Oh, look, a sign in the stands from 2 years ago.
Player sense. Your guy gets thirsty on the field and his performance will get worse. You got to give him Gatorade.
Be the water boy. Adam Sandler downloadable content. I'd buy that. That'd be amazing. Shake your head at me, Pong.
You're the problem.
I'm the problem? He's the goat. Adam Sandler's the fucking goat. Love that guy. Man. So yeah, we're in store for what a fucking crazy few months.
Yeah, it's gonna be a run. It's gonna be a fun run.
What'll be the highlight? The ABK deal closing or the showcase?
Showcase. Starfield showcase, obviously.
Could you imagine the week that Xbox would have? Just put this in perspective, right? Let's say the ABK deal closes like June 3rd or something like that.
But you already know, like
a week later,
the FTC is going to fight it. So like, there's going to be articles still to come. Like after, if the EU and CMA and stuff, if they pass it, there's still going to be people like the FTC is going to block it. It's not going to matter. That shit's going to be coming out for.
But regardless, like, here's the thing, like. They can still close if they want to after.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, but you're going to have those articles and the media still going to be pushing that narrative.
It doesn't matter because we'll still get all the benefits, right? That's when once they close, they're going to start putting out all the benefits and everything and lock everything in, and then like start pushing everything out to like Game Pass members and stuff like that. So that'll be the news more so than the like FTC stupid potential federal trial that's going to happen later on. Federal hearing.
I don't know if you listened to Xbox 2 today. They had Foss Patton, Julian Mueller, and they mentioned the with the CMA and EC if they approve and the FTC. Would they close on top and just go move ahead? I believe he said that that they would. It depends on how the lawyers feel, and I think also.
Well, we already have an answer to that.
Law,
like
Hogue Law.
Yeah, they've already come out and said that they'll just put it through.
The lead.
Yeah.
But they could change their mind, though. That's what he was. I think he was implying that they could step back and be like,
Hogue also implied that he's not sold on that. He thinks that that's the pressure that potentially it's the pressure that Xbox is putting on the FTC to try to settle.
Yeah.
And saying we're going to close over the top of you. But he says, Hogue still wasn't convinced that for sure they would actually follow through with that they just might run the process.
I don't think the FTC is changing their mind either.
No, the FTC is not according to their comments today that came out. So
the thing is, when you open it up, that renegotiation thing, that's what the FTC wanted all along, and that's where it gets messy, right?
Right.
So that's where I don't know if Microsoft wants to go that route, and maybe ABK says okay, and they just end up going that route, but then you're like prolonging it by however long the FTC tries to drag this damn thing out.
Right.
at that
Well,
point.
the court date's in August, so yeah.
Yes,
The only
but
thing they could say, Microsoft is that Supreme Court case that's supposed to be
yeah,
closed by this summer, and if that goes in the favor of the company that's suing the FTC, then Microsoft
yeah.
themselves could bring the FTC to court.
I
Say,
know
okay,
for me it's like this. Like there's not a whole lot. There's like a lot of speculation about what they would
yeah,
do. But
yeah,
for me, I'm just gonna run with what Microsoft
yeah.
lawyers already
S-
told directly to
Said,
the judge.
yeah,
Even
know
if
what I
they go
mean?
to court, though, like that's going to be like years down the line. Like this
Mhm.
process isn't like they go to court and it's over the next day. Like it's going to take forever for that to go through. So it's like
yeah. But
They
they
might
would
as well-
run business
yeah.
like Mav said. If they're closing over the top, they will run the. If the FTC can't convince a judge to get an injunction, which is what Microsoft's play would be, that the judge would not do an injunction to prevent it, then that would move the case forward, right? And then they would go through that process. But in the meantime, they would be closing, they close the deal. They would act like, hey, we own ABK
Yeah.
now. It's, this is it. And they would start moving forward. That's where the nightmare begins, because if they happen to lose, which nobody believes they would, but if the 1% chance did happen, untying everything at that point is freaking a mess. Like that
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
god awful.
I think they're
Microsoft.
willing to. I think they're willing to take that risk.
Yeah.
I do, because I think
Yeah.
they know that they're gonna win,
Yes.
and is it they already actually laid out the steps. And here's the thing: if we look back, right, to everything that Microsoft has said and done along this entire path has matched
My
up.
power is flickering, by the way, guys. So if I'm gone,
okay.
I'm gone. So just let you know.
Yeah, right on. This whole path, all the way through to this point, what Microsoft has laid out pretty much is what's happened, right? With timing and all this kind of stuff. Like as it sits right now, it's actually a little bit ahead of schedule, slightly from their latest close date. If the CMA and the EC agree to the remedies that they're proposing with the cloud licensing deals and stuff like that, right? So they've laid out the steps to the FTC directly. They said that once we get approval with all the outstanding regulatory bodies, right, and whatever remedies that they accept will be presented to the FTC. And this is from Xbox, the Microsoft lead attorney that's handling this directly, right? I forget her name. And once they get those remedies, they'll propose those to the FTC. I just saw that, Pong. If the FTC doesn't agree with those and come to terms before the termination date, that they will close, understanding that the FTC will probably take them to federal court in that case, right? And they just outlined it at that point. They said they didn't guarantee that's what they were going to do, but they said that's what they plan on doing, right?
Mhm.
So it could be a bluff, but I don't know if they want to put it more in the FTC's hands, right? Fucking with them, because that's what the FTC wants. They want to prolong.
I mean,
this,
that's their only option is to go over the FTC, because the FTC is going to block anyway. So what's their other move?
They could wait until the full federal thing gets settled.
Yeah,
before
but
they
that's going to
close.
take so fucking long anyway. So it's like,
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, it just makes sense for them just to and I don't even know if they present those remedies to the FTC and they just get a negative response, which is coming. Reports today are making it seem like they're still like not going to go for whatever Microsoft says. So it's like Microsoft, from my perspective, if I'm them, I'm looking at it like no matter what we do, they're just going to say no and take it further anyway. And why are we putting it in their hands to let it keep dragging this out for forever and potentially cause more delays and all these different things? I keep potentially requesting more documents and then getting more delays, and who knows what the FTC could try and pull, right? And if I'm Microsoft at that point, I'm saying take it out of their hands, put it in the federal judge's hands at that point, and we're going to go ahead and close because we know we're going to win that case. Like, it just makes sense, and they would have every right with the rest of the world, including Japan now, including also now Congress and members of Congress and senators coming out and starting to maybe think more in line with Microsoft here, especially when it comes to the PlayStation side, right? Which also was part of the FTC's biggest complaint. So all of this said, I feel like that's going to be one of the biggest moments that we have. Like, I feel like CMA is going to accept the remedies. The EC is going to accept remedies. We're going to find out what those are. The news came out today also about, or yesterday, about the game developers in the industry that were proposed those remedies all found it favorable, except for Sony and Google, right? And that's probably what's going to end up being accepted for the most part at the EC and then maybe the CMA. So after those are agreed to, we get, I think it's May 20, what for CMA or EC? May 25th?
22nd, I think it is.
22nd?
Yeah, 22nd.
So after that, shit's going to be popping real fast, guys. Like that May 22nd date comes along. At first, the April date, then the May 22nd date comes along. There's going to be huge news regarding that. And all heat's going to be on the FTC at that point. And then we're going to find out what Microsoft does. And if they close at that point, that's maybe the showcase will be get more attention, whatever. But you're talking about one of the biggest acquisitions in history. Microsoft actually closes here in June this year. Like, it's gonna be a game changer, right? On top of all this other stuff that we already talked about, which is going to be insane. Because you could potentially have a week, like we're June 4th or so, June 5th or whatever, you close ABK deal, and then that following like week on the 11th, you have your showcase, right? You know how much hype and excitement is going to be around the Xbox brand and community at that time? It's going to be insane, especially after we just got Minecraft Legends and Redfall and all this other shit, and knowing we still have Starfield coming on September 6th. I'm just putting myself in that place and time in a few months from now, and it's fucking crazy. I can't wait to get there. It's going to be nuts. Let's go.
I agree, Mav. Let's go. Let's go, Jude.
I got an instance over here, guys.
Let's go.
Yo, Jasper, what you got to say?
That would be cool, I guess. But
Did I get the job?
The thing is, though, even when it closes, you know, it's going to take a couple months for us to actually see Activision Blizzard stuff within the Xbox ecosystem.
Yeah, but we'll know what's happening then.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, let's
That's
go.
right.
Yes.
Put me in, coach. Let's go. Let's do this.
I just look forward to the comedy show of gaming media doing hit piece after hit piece.
I'm
It's
excited for that too, Fuzzy. Oh, you can't. The amount of content that we're going to get to make about these stupid journalists and their backlash, weird takes about hating Microsoft after this acquisition goes through. I can't wait to see what Jason Schreier's tweet is after it's announced that it's closed.
Microsoft made a mistake overturning the FTC. They're going to have a big trouble in 5 years when that deal gets blocked.
Let's be something along those lines.
I think was it DualShocker said something like, "Oh, and here's why it's absolutely in not in gamers' best interest." It's like, are you guys really still in this Activision is bad for gaming thing? Seriously.
I read that article. There's going to be plenty of those. The collapse of the gaming industry is imminent because Microsoft completed the deal. This is the end times for the gaming industry. It's over with. It's been a great run. Everybody's going to buy up everybody. There's going to be 3 companies that own everything now. There's going to be no
Microsoft
indie devs
skipped
anymore.
Go, and now they're the monopoly of the game.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I can't wait for those articles.
Order of video games
Because the ignorance behind all those articles is just so blatant, right? We call it out all the time. That's like they're less understanding about the gaming industry than the regulators are, and the regulators have been complete fucking morons this whole time, right? And finally coming aboard once they actually saw things and understood and got educated.
Because they didn't know math.
Yeah, they got their math wrong. But now even like all the journalists that are out there like consolidation, blah blah blah. I don't understand how many developers and publishers there are. You know how dynamic it is.
It doesn't matter.
Insane.
It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the big ones, Mav. That's all that matters. That's what runs this entire industry.
Well, we got a new studio announcement this week from another Playground dev.
Yep.
So
he left in
always more studios.
He left in January of 2022. He's one of the co-founders of Playground.
And then last week we had a Battlefield dev make a new studio. So
always happening. I mean, look at all
Constantly.
these. Embark has 2 really highly anticipated games. Who the fuck heard of them before? You know what I mean? Like there's new studios all the time, right? Especially in this day and age now, and technology is getting easier for these devs to even make games, right? Big games. You have indie games looking like AAA games at times and stuff. So
Now they're talking about how AI, which you and I talked about weeks ago, Mav, a month ago,
Yeah.
when
yeah.
AI, how now you got all these people coming out of the woodwork saying AI is going to open up game development to individuals like us who may not know how to code,
Yeah.
but we have great ideas. Like this industry is exploding. Like it's going to be
Yeah.
more accessible with more content when more people working in it than ever before. Just because the big stuff might be gobbled up, the little stuff is still going to be gigantic on the backside. So, you know,
Yeah.
again, it's a healthy industry. This is not contraction due to a failing industry.
Yeah.
By any stretch.
No, yeah, Sarah Bonner interview, she even mentioned that with AI helping people develop video games that normally would not know how to do, because there's so much involved into making video game, because she was talking about ID Xbox at 10-year anniversary, and they had just in the UK 700 developers um working with Microsoft right now, or Xbox right now, for with indie games. And I think she also said about 600 since the 10 years, 600 of those indie developers have put their games into Game Pass. So it's just any anything is possible with AI. And I mean,
Also,
Jasper
like,
could be the next fucking Todd Howard.
yeah, I doubt that. There was the AI, like Chat GPT, I think it was, they made Snake, like they was like, hey, make me Snake or whatever in like Python code, and they made it in 5 minutes. So like a couple years down the line, this thing could be making like fucking Mario fucking 64.
Yeah, absolutely. Or even beyond. There's some people that are connecting it to Unity and stuff and having it do full shading.
Yeah, Roblox has that built in with their thing. You can just be like, hey, change the texture of this, and it's like,
Yep.
okay.
And it makes 3-dimensional objects perfectly, and it like aligns them, and it gives you whatever textures you want and all that, just the lighting and everything. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty crazy. Now this is a healthy industry. Again, contraction due to a failing industry is completely different than contraction due to a successful industry where the money is so ripe and it's a seller's market right now that it's beneficial. And like Jack, I'll go back to Jack Trenton. Everybody can pull their own interviews if you want to of people who have different opinions, but I'll go back to Jack Trenton's interview last year, in which he stated that yet again, and I bring this one up all the time, that something like ABK, and he specifically talked about ABK, it creates a hole. But when you have a healthy industry like this, he said that allows for multiple people, multiple devs to come in and fill up that spot that ABK is now vacated. And one of those devs could become the next ABK. And that's what happens. You just, again, it's replanting the seeds into a fertile ground. And so that's the difference. Again, this isn't Wasteland City where everybody's dying off and everybody needs to be bought up or it's over with. It's a completely different scenario right now. So again, you can look at it. You can have a discussion about, utopia happening in video games. You can have a discussion about the absolute apocalypse happening in video games, but somewhere the truth is probably more than likely somewhere in the middle, right? And that's what's going to happen. And again, with an industry this healthy that's still growing, as Strauss said, for up to 20 more years, he thinks it could grow.
Also, we kind of have like
close.
blinders on, just like focusing here, but like the rest of the world, like there's emerging markets that
everywhere.
Yeah,
correct. That's why Microsoft's in Africa right now, right? They've set up shop in Africa because it's an emerging market that's going to come out of there. India is still set to explode in development. We've seen what South Korea is doing in the East, and South Korea is a small country. Again, that's why this is not even close to the apocalypse. That's why this is not a sign of the end times for video games, just because some of the bigger publishers out there get bought up right now. That's not what's going to happen here, folks. It's not. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but it's
not. Consolidation is really not a concern of mine at all regarding the industry and everything. It's too big. Too many players, too dynamic. ABK pretty much makes one fucking game right now, besides the mobile stuff. 2 games. You want to say Candy Crush and Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like they obviously make more Diablo. Yeah, I know. I'm being sarcastic.
Come on.
Yeah,
I'm being sarcastic. There's a lot of shit that I'm excited about with that, but that's what everybody says. Anyway, it's all just Call of Duty. I think ultimately it's a good deal for gamers, and we're going to be hyped about it when we get to take advantage of all those deals, which maybe it's going to start to happen this summer.
Sooner than later.
Starfield also hits this summer. September 6th is technically still a part of summer.
Technically still summer.
Yeah. They need to change the seasons. Like, for me, May is summer, right? Like, Redfall comes out May 2nd. That shit's still spring. But in Texas, it's fucking summer, right? Here it's summer. September 6th, it's still summer in here in Texas as well. But like, we want to
got
hope
an instance
for fall.
over here, guys.
We want to hope for fall. So
That's all he cares about. Himself. What's close by.
no, they need to change all the seasons to match my climate.
You're right, exactly.
Yeah, that's what they need to do.
But no, Starfield is technically summer, even though it's late. But it's going to be, yeah. I mean, again, now we're seeing the fall start to fill up a little bit. We're starting to see some more titles, head late summer, early fall, and that second half of the year that's pretty much has been a blank slate is starting to come into focus a little bit. When we're going to hear a lot more coming down the pipeline, especially come E3 time. That's when we'll really hear about some fall stuff, I'm assuming, from a lot of these places. So looking good. Starfield is going to be huge. If Spider-Man 2 hits that month, I mean, again, that's going to be one of the biggest months in video game history to have 2 potentially game of the year contenders from 2 of the biggest heavyweights coming out. It's special. It's special. And that's going to be coming off the heels of Zelda in March and Diablo in June, and the fighters, Tekken and Street Fighter in there as well. God, man, this year is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when do y'all think we get the Ubisoft Plus announcement? There was that one tweeter, the insider type website reader guy that said mid-April we should be getting it should be launching. I don't know the track record for that person whatsoever, but it still kind of fit in with what is a very good possibility. It's been well over a year since they announced that Ubisoft Plus is coming to consoles.
Yeah.
So
I'm just trying to think, like, what do they have coming out that they could launch it alongside of?
Avatar.
When's Avatar launch?
We don't know.
Okay, so they don't have anything.
Yeah, that's where I'm like.
But you could put Anno 1800 in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
ain't
but
gonna
like
do
you would
anything.
think they would do like a big game. It's like one of their like Assassin's Creed, like an actual bigger name.
Well, they did just update Far Cry 5 as well, right? So maybe this is anticipation to get the stuff that they have more appealing, right? For people to subscribe to.
It just depends how it's going to be. If it's the full $15, then yeah, they probably should wait until something's out that's going to entice people. But if it is a discounted price, if it's an extra $5 or whatever, $10 that they're going to try to throw on top of Xbox Ultimate Game Pass, then maybe you don't need it to have launch aside a big game. Maybe you just do it and people decide if they want to jump in there. And
It also
play
depends
all
on
the
how
DLC.
desperate Ubisoft is for money.
Correct.
I think there's probably plans to change some things. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that $1 deal is just gone now.
No.
After 6 years of
Friends
being
and
there,
family and Ubisoft Plus.
That was fast.
I think there's got to be a reason why randomly all of a sudden on a Sunday night they just got rid of that,
Yeah.
And for me, it looks like, okay, well, they know the ABK deal is closing around the corner and they want to get ahead of that. Plus, also, you have Ubisoft Plus coming in that they could offer as an extra tier or an option, like an extra subscription. And then you have the friends and family thing happening. So I think with all of those in place, I think potentially it's a time for like them to kind of rebrand the structuring of Game Pass. And with different marketing behind it, because I don't know if you guys agree with this, but my mind, when I think about the future of what Game Pass is kind of like what I described before with like the Amazon Prime model style, where you have your subscription service and then you can subscribe to other services on top of that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Within that service or whatever. Because if you go on like Amazon Prime right now, you can go in there from the app and you can get a free trial to HBO or Showtime or Cinemax or Paramount Plus and all these things. And there's all this stuff there that you can't play or watch. I mean, unless you hit it and then do the free trial or pay for the extra subscription. So for me, it's Game Pass maybe going that route.
If they do that, I think they should go like, if you're saying like a rebrand, I think they should go even like bigger with it and like even make that a segment of their E3 show. Be like, we're changing the way Game Pass works. Ubisoft Plus is dropping today in it. Later next year, we're gonna be adding Game Pass Mobile to it. So like, they're just gonna start adding different like services
Options,
to that. Like,
you know,
yeah,
so you can kind of build your own plan out of it
Yeah.
with like Ultimate, you know, being like the core, right, plan. Then you can do your friends and family for 25, and then if you want to add Ubisoft Plus to that, you can do it, and maybe the friends and family gets to take advantage of that as well, right? Or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, because that's kind of how these other subscription services work now. I mean,
I think like, but if they're gonna do that, I think they have to go big with it and actually have like a little like 5-minute segment at their show
Kinda
to announce like
explaining
all the
it,
different. Yeah. They can't just do a blog post and be like, we're changing Game Pass today, and then like not talk about it, you know?
And I think they'll still like they said that they're still exploring like ways for new members to get benefits and stuff like that. Like, I think it's going to be more in line with like free trials to other things potentially.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Plus, they have that ad-supported one that they were talking about as well,
But
where you like watch some ads in between playing games. So it'd be like almost like the free or the $1 or a couple of $1 a month type of deal. So yeah, I agree with Jasper. They should just have some sort of like breakdown of everything that they're going to bring to it type of deal.
So do we think that happens at their E3 thing, or do we think that happens sooner to get ahead of that E3 showcase?
I could see I don't know, like I could see them announcing Ubisoft's. Well, I don't know, like that's like I keep saying, because like you would want to drop that news at E3 if you're going to actually talk about it and not like do it early.
Not necessarily, because maybe they want the focus at that time to be all on the games that are coming into those services now that are already established.
Yeah, but then you wouldn't talk about it, period, at the show.
You would just have a blog post and maybe a video that you put out on YouTube, like an announcement or something.
And that would be kind of lame.
But it's not really huge, like, you know what I mean?
All
like
of this in Game Pass, day and date.
Like, if maybe they are holding it back, you know, but like it's not as exciting as like a brand new game announcement.
Yeah, no, it's just like I think you would want to explain that to people, like, because there's gonna be a lot of confusion if you start changing up the model, like.
Yeah. So if they do like a blog post plus also have a video talking about it and, you know, all this stuff, y'all don't think that would be enough?
Also, it's the negative side to that would be that they make it too confusing for new players to want to jump into it. Like if they start making it super complicated, where it's like, and you can add this, and you can add that, and you can sign up this way, or you can sign up that way, then it's gonna be like, I'm not fucking doing that.
What so like let's say we have Game Pass Ultimate, then you can have Game Pass Friends and Family, and then also coming to the service is Ubisoft Plus, which is an option.
Yeah,
Seems pretty
it's
simple.
weird because it's almost like, as far as back to just the Ubisoft aspect, I was hoping it would be April, but I don't think Avatar or any game that they have ready to release comes out at that time to make it, you know, make sense for it to be announced. I mean, a Ubisoft Vault type of thing, kind of like what they did with the PlayStation Plus type of deal. Definitely next month or sometime in April.
That PlayStation Vault thing is bullshit. Like Xbox already has all those games in their Game Pass.
Pretty
also,
much, yeah.
Anyway, like it's just a marketing thing for PlayStation to say we finally have something in our fucking service, right? So they had to separate it, where it's like an expectation with Game Pass now. This is something I've thought about a lot, actually, Fuzz, and you just brought it to my mind now because you said that. We have come to expect things from Game Pass that we've never used to expect before, right? Things that used to be huge news and we're like, holy shit, wow, this is crazy. Now it's just like, yeah, it's just normal. We expect that now. Like MLB The Show is 3rd year in a row in Game Pass. Like, I didn't hear it. oh my God, yeah, it's in Game Pass again. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just not expectation, right? When other games like Exoprimal was announced as coming to Game Pass day one, there wasn't a huge like uproar of like, whoa, holy shit, a third party big published game is coming to Game Pass day
IP,
one.
so it's like,
yeah, but still, like 3 years ago, that wasn't the norm.
Yeah, when
It was like
Outriders was announced, it was
Outriders
like,
and MLB The Show were the first two, right?
yeah,
It changed the game when those things happen. Now it's an expectation, right? So for me, it's like Game Pass keeps getting better and better. Our expectations have increased, and now it's like it's harder to wow us with Game Pass because we're just like used to it being fucking awesome, you know?
yeah.
Like it's interesting. Anyway, keep going, Fuzz. Sorry.
No, but I'm just hoping, outside of the Ubisoft Plus being announced in Game Pass, whether it's an add-on or rolled into Ultimate or whatever the case may be, I'm thinking friends and family, they probably save that. What are we thinking? Like, I would say probably the best timing would be just before Redfall, considering it's a.
Or do they
it's a
even put Ubisoft Plus in Game Pass? Like maybe they just do it like they did with originally with EA Play, where it's just a separate service, like on the dashboard. It's like, sure, why not? It's not actually part of Game Pass, but you just sign up for it. You know, like that's probably how they would launch that. I would assume they wouldn't just market. They just wouldn't put that straight into Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean that way Ubisoft can see how many people are interested, and then Microsoft could kind of nudge them in the direction of incorporating that in the Game Pass. Like, hey, we'll pay this amount, and you can roll that in, or we'll cover this since you're not seeing the numbers that you were hoping. Blah blah blah, and our customers will benefit, you'll benefit. Blah blah blah. But like as far as for friends and family, considering Redfall being a single player and multiplayer game, all in one, friends and family would be a good way to kind of lead into Redfall, just because that way now, hey, your whole family or your squad can be on the same plan and have access to the game the same day and play at the same time, kind of thing. But I was hoping the family plan would have been announced back around the holidays. But yeah, if they wait until like Redfall or just before Redfall, I think that would be kind of like prime.
Yeah, you could really market
prime
that
timings for it. So, but yeah, it's our expectations have definitely increased over these past couple of years with Game Pass. But I just Ubisoft is like that weird one now, just because they haven't really released anything, and it's like the next big release that I'm kind of looking forward to, that's within normal timing, is supposed to be a free to play, which is the Heartland deal. So that doesn't really make sense with Ubisoft Plus. But Skull and Bones is on the horizon. You got what is that? Avatar is on the horizon. At some point, I guess between now and May 4th, we get news from them on the Star Wars game that Massive is working on. But that I don't even think that's out. Yeah, it's like at least 2, 3, or 5 years out. So, and at this rate, I don't know if Ubisoft is around at that point, unless something major or drastically changes between now and then. So we'll see.
Earlier, John Mark Louis hit us with a $2 super chat. Says Jim thought he was facing Phil. Nope, it's Satya. He didn't realize he was fighting against all that money, right? But yeah, this has been a great discussion, everybody. You know what? This is a light gaming news week, so I feel like we're good to hang it up here and call it a show. I want to thank the amazing chat. We still got 136 people here hanging out. You guys all fucking rock. Shout out to Crazy Louie, Xbox International Podcast, member for 14 months. And Mav, what's up, Louie? How's it going, dude? Thank you all for watching. Appreciate it. Everybody here hanging out. If you do like the content on this channel, hit the like button, share it out, subscribe, let people know about us and our other shows that we got going on as well. But let's get everybody out of here, and so we can play some fucking games. Yes. What did I say? Spooky. Yeah, I just saw Spooky in the chat, so I was about to say Spooky. Sorry. Shout out to Spooky. Psycho, where can everybody find you, bro? Are you back?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm
Okay.
back. I just been sitting here waiting, but yeah, find me on social media everywhere for everyone, and yeah, every Friday,
Yes,
short and
sir.
sweet.
Nice. Buzzy, what about you, bro? Where can everybody find you?
Just thank you for having me on. Love being here with you guys, and thanks to everybody in the chat. You can find me on Shop Podcast tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Pong and PTK. And Lazy Black Gamer is going to be on there as a special guest tomorrow. Then Sunday, you can find me on Gaming Council with Retri and Web Dave at 7 p.m. on Web Dave's channel, talking about Forza Horizon 5 Rally. You know, some gameplay and some thoughts and ideas on that. And then on Monday, Xbox Lunch Break Special on Mr. Boomstick's channel or Double Barrel Gaming's channel at 12 noon on Monday. And then later that evening, FSP at 10 p.m. Eastern Time here with everybody on Fun Speculations channel. Love seeing you there.
Right on, man. Thanks, Fuzz, as always. Missed you not having FSP on Monday. So I look forward to having that back again next week.
Yeah.
Jasper, what about you, bro?
Yo, hire me, please. Lord Jasper, Twitter, Lord Master Jasper, YouTube. I was gonna do a Starfield video today, but just doing life stuff with jobs, so didn't get around to that. So I'll try to do that this weekend. And then AI game news on Twitter. Check that out. The latest game news, FSP Monday and Xbox Ultimate Friday at Fun Speculation Channel, all 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Right on, bro. Thanks, Jasper. And Hong Soul, the man with the blizzard, the man with the power flickering.
Yeah.
Where can everybody find you, bro?
I'm just glad it stayed on through the whole entire show. Great
Yeah.
show, brothers. Again, short news week. Weird not having PM in the PM last night. I always hate missing the show, so sorry about that, everybody.
It was a week to miss,
Yeah, it was a week to miss, but I still hate it because I like getting together with you and just chopping it up. But still great to see.
If they try and hold you next Thursday, you just got to walk out and quit.
Yeah, I know. If
I got to get my 6th nut in.
Jesus, not psycho. Anyways, just great show though. Lots of stuff happening again. Now as we're ramping up towards E3, so we're gonna get more and more news again. It's gonna be crazy. It's already been a crazy year, so it's kind of nice to have a down week a little bit where we can cut it short a little bit because most of our shows have been going 3-4 hours. So, but thank you all for joining us. Hit your like button on the way out, please. And if you get an opportunity, share it out and let everybody know that Fun Speculation is the place to be. It is now a network of shows, and you need to be here on the ground floor. So someday, when it's everywhere, you can say, God, I used to watch those guys back in the day before they even became the Fun Speculation Network. So, but anyways, thank you all for being here. Tomorrow morning, Steele and I living split screen. Even on short weeks, when Steele and I have our rants, we got all sorts of stuff to talk about. You're going to still get more than 2 hours. You're going to get 3+ hours tomorrow morning. I can almost guarantee you that unless I have no power tomorrow morning. Living split screen. That is right. Split screen's all one word, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. Like Fuzzy said, the Shop Podcast tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. Be there over on PTK Blam's channel. He's actually been getting a bigger audience every Saturday night. Appreciate every single one of you who have been shouting that out. It's finally great to see because PTK deserves that. We have a good time Saturday night, so be there. And then next week it starts all over again. Of course, Xbox Factor Podcast, Double Barrel Gaming. Mr. Boomstick is the man. All Good Things Green every Tuesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. And then, of course, Thursday, it is PM in the PM. Pong and Mav in the PM. We will be back next week unless something comes up. But chances are we are going to be there 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time, right here on the Fun Speculation Network. Otherwise, it's the golden age of gaming people. So please enjoy your weekend. Have a wonderful Saturday and Sunday. Get out there, play what you love what you play, and I'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Be there. Matt, get us out of here, brother.
Right on, man. And everybody have a fantastic night. Thank you for watching. Peace out.